We are the Cimburkes.
This is Emily,
Josiah, and Alexis. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Chris.
And we want to tell you about God's healing in our lives.
In 2004, I was burned on more than 65% of my body. Spent 3 weeks in the burn ICU and 42 days at MCV in the burn unit itself. I had a trach for a year, couldn't talk, and it was a rough time.
We were told we would have trouble conceiving, and I was on contraceptive, so we were very surprised to find out when we were pregnant with Emily, our first of 3 miracle babies. Because of all the trials that we had gone through with Josiah and Emily and the difficult pregnancies, we decided that having additional children just wasn't in the best interest for our family. So 1 month before Josiah's first birthday, Chris was scheduled for the sterilization procedure, and I also had an IUD. The percentage of us getting pregnant again was 0.06% chance. 2 weeks later, we found out that we were pregnant. The average couple, I assume, would be very excited over another baby, but we weren't. We know that there is one giver of life, and He had given that little life to us, and there was nothing that we were going to do to reject that gift. We were told by many people to terminate the pregnancy. It was a very hard pregnancy, and during one of my visits to the doctor, I was experiencing a lot of pain and having many symptoms of miscarriage. The doctor was unable to find the heartbeat, and about that time, the building shook. It was in August of last year when we had the earthquake. The doctor left the room to see what had happened, and I was very upset at the thought of losing this child that at one time we didn't want. But it was just that natural instinct to protect that baby that was growing within me. The doctor came back in the room and said she could see that I was visibly still upset and in pain as well. She decided to hook me up and do another ultrasound, and at that moment we saw the little flicker of our baby's heartbeat. I knew at that time that God was there with us and that everything was going to be all right. I was put on bed rest for a long 4 months, spent many days in the hospital, and ended up losing function of my right kidney. We basically spent the entire length of pregnancy stopping contractions and trying not to go into labor. After 17 hours of labor, Alexis was born by C-section 9 weeks early. She was immediately put on life support and spent 2 months in the neonatal intensive care unit. She had 2 congenital heart defects, unexplained hypertension, was in congestive heart failure, had seizures, required multiple blood transfusions, and had the same apnea and reflux that her brother and sister had. A lot of her life has been spent in the hospital, in and out of intensive care, from 2 pounds 6 ounces to now over 12 pounds. We have really seen God's miraculous healing in the last 6 months. Throughout all of this, God has never left us. He has been with us, He has held us, and He has comforted us. He has healed our family, He has healed our children, and God is always good. Even the days when we were fighting for each of their lives, God's always been good, even in the bad times. And He has held us in His hands, and He has provided for us, and He has given us that grace, and He has healed us, and He will do the same for you. All you have to do is pray and ask Him.